Hey everyone, it's Kent with VoidRealm Minis. Today I'm going to do a quick overview of all of the sculpts that I prepared for you guys for my January Patreon release, which is the Swarm of Shadows. So we're going to dive into ZBrush here, and I'll show you a little bit about each one of them. Here we go. Okay, so I'll start things off with these shadow serpents. Kind of a motif that I used for the whole month was this mask and this head, and I made some snake shapes and some cultists around that mask. So these guys are kind of standalone encounters, small. I think they're about 30 to 40 millimeters tall, maybe. There's a single head, a double, and a triple head variant that you can print out. So those are the shadow serpents. We'll next look at the cultists. I prepared two cultists this month. These guys are the worshippers of Vidalia, who is our monthly cosmic horror. Jump into solo mode here. This guy is a summoner. He comes with a flame actually that you can place right at the base, just for a little bit of an effect. And I call this guy, the Shadow Cultist Summoner. And then I've also got here the Sacrificer variation. So these guys are really quick, easy to print, 32 millimeter scale. Of course, you can always increase or decrease the size if you like. Next, we will talk about the Ink Shadow Basilisk. This is a cool sculpt that I had a lot of fun making. He is also a pretty easy print. 4 parts, a head, 2 arms, and the main body. He's about 65 millimeters tall, but I think he would look good at some larger scales as well. Of course, all the sculpts are pre-supported, so he comes pre-supported for 65 millimeter print. The basilisk you'll see is designed. He's got this trailing bit of kind of shadow flame, and this is actually designed to slot into Vidalia, the Cosmic Horror, so that you can have him be summoned from her shadowy dress. And I'll just show you a quick turntable so you can get a good look at the model. Really interested to see what people will do with him when they paint him up. Cool. And now we will jump into Vidalia. This is the big cosmic horror for the month. Vidalia was inspired by classical Greek and Roman sculpture. So if we isolate her body, this is kind of the core sculpt. You've got this figure, get it on center, kind of twisting and pulling up out of the air in a little bit of a spiral pattern, with some shadowy flames that her dress dissolves into at the base. She's also holding her own mask, which is a variation of the shadow mask. And you can see she's sort of pulling it off of her face. She's got that nice shadowy, wrinkled look, with whatever's coming off of her face there. There's two versions of this. The official version is not this modest version. You'll see this has flames that cover her breast, so I included this version as a bonus. But the official version is kind of in that classical Greek style. So that, of course, is available for you to print out. She's about 95 millimeters tall, and you'll see she's got this opening here at her base and a little bit of a hollow at the bottom here. This is so that you can add characters to her. So we can actually add the Shadow of Vidalia or the Ink Shadow Basilisk. Both will form a vignette and match up nicely with the sculpt. I'm going to jump back into the whole thing and show you a couple of additional options with Vidalia. You'll see immediately, you might have seen pop up these flames around the base. So this just sort of enhances the silhouette of her. and makes her dress fan out further. I split them up into 4 different parts, I believe, so that you can choose to print them or not. She doesn't need to have them, but you see these flame pieces here. They make for a nice enhancement of the silhouette. The first variation you can do with that is you can actually turn on or add these serpent variations. So these are like the shadow serpents that I first showed, but these are embedded into the flame. So if you want to print these versions with the necks, you can add these masked serpents all around her also, and really have some weird, unsettling figures swarming around her. So that's what she's going to look like with those. The file, the mask head, this file here, that is the only file you'll need. You'll just need to print a bunch of copies of this one to slot. They all will slot onto the next. I've keyed them all to be the same. And one thing you can also do is, if you don't prefer the masked head, you can turn on, let me get this on. Yeah, we've got this, you'll see up here, you can actually put the basilisk head instead. So there's a bonus file for this basilisk head, which Ben was able to get pre-supported for you guys, and this head you can also print out and put in place of any of the masked heads. So the shadow serpents can become basilisk serpents. This Vidalia vignette can be kind of a mixture of the basilisk and the masked head, or you can just have a ton of basilisks swarming around her. However you want to do it, there are options there, definitely options there. Let's go ahead and turn some of this stuff back off and get into just some of the vignettes to show you. And this will lead us into the Shadow of Vidalia, which is the last sculpt I got to show you guys. Here, we'll turn this on. So this is the Shadow of Vidalia, and it's kind of this nightmarish giant that emerges from the floor. Idea behind this one is, if you look from underneath, this silhouette is the shadowed version of Vidalia's silhouette and shape up here. So the idea would be that she casts a shadow down, and then this crazy giant that sort of looks like Vidalia, but clearly has its own personality and distorted face and more of a nightmarish look, emerges from that shadowed silhouette and takes on a life of its own. So you could have a lot of fun with that, doing a really dark encounter or a boss fight on your tabletop. So that's the Shadow of Vidalia, and you'll see again that sculpt is designed to kind of slot in, not butt up against perfectly, but just sort of overlap to form that nice vignette. We can also add the basilisk into this slot here, and I don't have that set up to show you guys in ZBrush here, but you can also place the basilisk there, so you can have an encounter where she can cast different things out of her shadowy dress. You can probably add your own monsters or characters. Lots of cool stuff. I wanted to make this month with a bit of modularity and customization, and have been just trying to figure out the correct way to present that and show you guys. So I figured the video would probably be the best way to do that, and to give a clean overview of all those different options. You'll see some renders come out. There's some additional characters that we need to get added in. The Shade Walkers are getting tested right now. Those are fun little prints, but I won't go over those here. But yeah, this is basically it. It was a really fun month trying to do something a little bit different with the cosmic horror, and do something a little more mysterious with Vidalia instead of something with a lot of fangs and teeth, tentacles. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments, or find me on Patreon, patreon.com/VoidRealmMinis, and leave me some feedback there. If anybody prints and paints these up, I would love to see them. Seeing the painted models is one of the coolest things about this miniature sculpting business that I've jumped into. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the sculpts, and we'll see you soon next time.